Hey everyone, welcome to the How to Gay podcast. This is Paz, and I am recording episode 1 the week of August 25th, 2021. How are you guys? I know this is the first episode, so it's probably going to be a little, bumpy. But stick around, we'll have fun. As I mentioned, my name is Paz. I wanted to start this podcast because, I've been gay my whole life. It's an interesting thing. The problem is, I don't think I know what I'm doing. Is that weird? Is there an instruction manual that I was never given? So this podcast is a way for me to explore a little bit more about the gay community. And somehow I am willing to put my voice out there. Anywho, what we're going to do is start with some news, any media that's really tickling my fancy I kind of want to just chat about. We'll take a quick break, and then after, I wanted to kind of just introduce myself by talking to you about a little bit of my college and post-college experiences about being part of the gay community. So let's start off with a little bit of news. So I was reading a piece that was coming out of Australia, and it just hurt. The story of a 28-year-old dad who beat his 6-year-old son because the son was sitting on another boy's lap. He ended up choking out his wife as well. All the details just seemed so intense. And I'm like, dude, this kid is 6. Do you even know how to gay when you're 6? Are you just playing around? Why did that trigger the dad so badly? It's scary that people exist out there like this. And I don't want to say, thankfully, this guy was put to jail, but he pled guilty. He knew he made a mistake, and he is going to jail. Why even do that from the get-go? I'm sure I did silly things, frivolous things as a kid that no one would have paid attention to. I have pictures of me as a kid, running around like an idiot. I have pictures as a kid really small kid. I remember there's a picture of me cheek kissing a girl. And I'm like, oh. And everyone just thought that was kind of funny and cute. I think our society should just get to the point where kids should just be funny and cute the whole time. This kid is sitting on another lap and whatever, it's fine. They're kids. Sometimes you just need a chair and someone's sitting on the chair already. Are we as a society going to get rid of musical chairs just because a boy might end up sitting on another boy's lap? That's what this article feels like to me. These kids are playing around. Let kids be kids. Let them play around. Let them have fun. Let them learn about who they are without stifling them. Or at least I hope that that's what our society is today. I could just be giving a rose-tinted glasses, perspective of things, and please call me out if I am. Along with that, I wanted to mention I had just recently seen Luca. I know it has been sitting on Disney Plus for months now, and I only got to watching it this weekend. A lot of other movies kind of popped in before that. Got to see Black Widow. That one was kind of cool. But the point of the matter is, there were news pieces that I kept seeing that kept forcing, I don't want to say forcing, that seems a little aggressive, but they kept pushing this gay agenda on Luca. And honestly speaking, I don't think that there is a gay agenda in Luca at all. I just think it is, again, younger kids, 12, 13, just exploring and learning about the world. The fact that the two characters, I'm pretty sure the trailers have spoiled things and this movie has been out a lot longer, so I could probably cover this and not spoil you. But the two boys that are sea monsters are just boys who are exploring Italy. I don't see anything gay about it, funny enough. I see, boys who get jealous of others because of, accomplishments they do. I see boys who are just playing the defensive because they want to keep themselves safe and protected. None of that's really gay. If you see a gay agenda in there, sure, go ahead, have fun with that. I do not. Of the most recent movies, I think Luca stands out more so than Soul, and more so than Onward as well. My recommendation, go out and watch it. It's good. The last piece of news I really have to cover, it's just because it's been everywhere. Maybe Google knows too much about my search history, but everywhere in the news has been OnlyFans. Earlier in August, OnlyFans made an announcement that on October 1st, 2021, they were going to be removing content that contains sexually explicit conduct. And I thought to myself, well, this is dumb. 90% of OnlyFans is sexually explicit content. The other 10% that I have seen, but I'm not sure how many people have used, are this weird combination of fitness trainers who are trying to get you to exercise, chefs who are trying to get you to cook, and models who know that they can get away with not having to be naked and yet somehow make money. You know what I didn't know about OnlyFans? OnlyFans is based in London, England. I never knew that. I don't know why I just assumed OnlyFans was created by some horny teenager in California. But it's not. I think my biggest issue with OnlyFans was just on a surface level, their lack of awareness. It's kind of like what happened to Tumblr when Tumblr was taken over and then out of nowhere, once new management came in, they're like, we can't really do all of this adult content that's on Tumblr. And then just Tumblr disappeared. I'm pretty sure Tumblr still exists today, but I don't know anyone who uses Tumblr. And I think the same exact thing was happening to OnlyFans, where once OnlyFans made that announcement, I'm sure people would have just... And people did. People rioted, and people were upset that they were, shunning the sex worker. This actually reminds me of one other business move that happened, I think, earlier this year that was a complete failure as well. I'm an arts and crafts guy. I do a little bit of design on my own shirts and, make homemade presents. And Cricut actually tried to do something similar, where Cricut was like, this isn't a paid service. We're going to make it a paid service and charge you things. And everyone rioted. And Cricut had to go back on what they said. OnlyFans did the same exact thing. Only a week after their announcement, they basically had to rescind exactly what they said. I think it's a smart move. I know I kind of tried to read a little bit more, and there is a financial undertone to it where OnlyFans was blaming a few different banks not being able to transfer payments for creators because of the content. I'm not really sure what that means. As of this recording, I don't think any banks have made a statement saying, hey, the money that goes to OnlyFans we're blocking. My thing is, OnlyFans, I love a good analogy. For me, this is the dumbest analogy. Hotels are to Airbnb as the professional porn industry is to OnlyFans. It's kind of this idea of someone trying to be a smaller version of a large corporation, where if you were a Marriott, someone's just trying to sell a bed. If you were God, I don't even know any porn industry things. If you were a Lucas Entertainment, now some kid named Luke is just, doing what he needs to. Is Lucas Entertainment a thing? Someone tell me. Thank you. I don't use OnlyFans. I know people who are on OnlyFans. I've seen people try to shell content out there. As a reality TV person, I know several of the contestants on MTV's Challenge, male, obviously, are on there trying to sell their wares. And I am kind of surprised about how much content that they have. But personally, I don't use it. But I've seen online a lot of people who make this as a living, and it just seemed really mean for OnlyFans to even consider what they were considering. The only thing was, you knew once OnlyFans made that announcement, companies like Just for Fans would have stepped right in and taken whatever audience OnlyFans had and then crushed them, just kind of like how Tumblr died. I don't think it was a smart decision. It will still leave a bad taste in everyone's mouth, even with the policy not going in effect, because there's always going to be a what if. What if they think about this again in 6 months, in 1 year, in 5 years, if they exist in 5 years? How about this? How about you run a good company that keeps all your customers happy? There you go. Done. How hard was that? So I am going to take a quick break, but when we get back from the break, I wanted to kind of talk a little bit more about myself. I do want to kind of focus this show on interviewing a lot of different people just so that there is a lot of gay perspective. But I figure on off days when I can't find people, I talk about myself. What a narcissist. I am going to just quickly discuss a little bit about how it was to be gay in college and a little bit after that. And just so you can kind of get me as a more rounded person. So stick around, we will be back very soon. Rainbow Souls is a clothing company that is by queer people for queer people. They're focused on empowerment, pride, and authenticity. Rainbow Souls is an American-based company, but they do offer worldwide shipping and 30-day free returns. Also, with any product purchase, 20% of the profit will be donated to various non-profit charities, like the Trevor Project. Use my code PAZ20, that's PAZ20, to save you 20% off your next purchase with Rainbow Souls. So right before the break, I mentioned that I wanted to talk a little bit about my college life. Not the educational part, just the friendships and fun that I made when I was there. I did learn a lot more about myself than I ever did when I was in high school, but you were at that age where your head's fully developed. I want to stress to a lot of high school kids who are listening, if you are listening, that time changes a lot of things. That being said, I never joined any sort of LGBTQ plus or some sort of gay straight alliance type club. I actually went the other route and I joined the Asian Student Association. I had to look it up though. These days, the Asian Student Association, the ASA, is now the Asian and Pacific Islander Student Alliance. So good for them. In theory, I guess Filipinos probably would be more Pacific Islander, so they probably just emphasize that. I used to have a snide comment ready to go when someone asked me, why didn't you join the gay club instead of, the Asian club? And the joke always was, when I was growing up, I knew I was Asian before I knew I was gay. Which in part makes sense. When you're 3 or 4, you see all of these cultural things around you. Whether or not you're aware of it, especially me being Filipino, there were just Filipino things around me all the time. Whether it be the foods that I was eating, some of the clothes that were, shoulder forward, or the parties that I would go to with my families. Filipinos love parties. And I was there all the time, every holiday. If there was some sort of door opening, there was a Filipino party for it. And that was well before I knew anything about sexuality in general. I think, at the age of 5, I think I knew the difference between boy and girl. Joining the Asian clubs felt comfortable for me, which was good. Comfortable is nice. I'll continue to emphasize breaking out of your shell, but starting somewhere is, taking the first step is also very important. But back in the day, I eventually was vice president, then became president my senior year of college, and was there supporting a lot of the Asian community. It was a lot of fun. A lot of the club members were hyphen Americans, but there were a few that had just gone in from whatever country they were from, and it was a little bit of a struggle for them to speak in English, but they felt comfortable in the community, and I loved it. And in all honesty, I'm proud of what we did with the Asian Student Association, and I'm really proud of what we did with the Cultural Week, Jam Asia. I think now you know what college I'm in. But for the life of me, I cannot remember what the name of the LGBTQ club was. Back in the early 2000s, I'm sure that there wasn't a plus sign or a Q or an I in the name. And I had to I don't remember what its name is. And the funny thing is, I decided to take a look at my old college's website to see if I could find what the name of the club was. And I don't think the club in its form way back in the day exists the same way it does today. The positive that I will mention is that there are at least 3 forms of LGBTQ plus clubs. If you are actually looking for that, go out and seek it. Personally, for me, I found people of the gay community that weren't part of any of these clubs. Some people are supportive of the community. Some people are afraid of the community. Some people aren't as willing to put themselves out there, and that's fine. When I was in the Asian Student Association, there were at least 2 or 3 people that identified in the queer space. And they weren't part of any gay clubs either. If you're going to college, don't think you have to join anything. Choose what you want to do. As an example, my freshman year of college, I was part of the a cappella team. And I'm pretty sure there was only one straight guy there in the whole team. It was co-ed. They had a penchant for doing a lot of 80s music. I left a cappella instead to focus on the Asian Student Association and to do a little bit of college radio. It's just scheduling kicked in. I could tell you a little bit more of that story if we were in person, but I think we'll keep it at that. The benefit about being in college is really being able to pick and choose. Pick and choose what you want to do. Pick and choose the friends you make. Be willing to go out there, but if you are afraid, find your happiness. The generic college experience where you're in a dorm room. It's a little hard for me to kind of equate people who have to commute from home, people who are doing maybe a 2-year instead of a 4-year kind of program. The traditional 4-year program may work really well for you if you want to expand your horizons and you just need a little bit of space outside of your house. I think I learned everything about gay and gaying really at the start of college when I was interacting with a diverse group of people. It's weird thinking about this in retrospect because I don't consider myself old, but now that I'm thinking about it, I feel very old. Reminiscing is fun, though. What I will say is kind of weird and funny. When I was in college, the Asian Student Association actually met up at the same time as whatever the gay club was called. Also down the hall were the Staunch Conservative Club. It was really weird because the Staunch Conservative Club would have to walk by and see a lot of progressive Asians and then a lot of progressive gays as well. And then we kind of knew each other. We'd say hi to each other down the hallway, and then they would all kind of just bolt to their own room. Just want to thank whoever was in charge of assigning rooms to everyone, I guess. Also, just as an aside, I know this is a How to Gay podcast, but if you're not Asian and you want to join the Asian Student Association, there is nothing stopping you. Again, if you're straight and you want to join the gay club, there is nothing stopping you. Unless if there's some weird decree, then I wouldn't join that club because then they're being like cliquey. And cliquey people scare me. I've never been accepted into a clique, so I've always felt like an outcast when it comes to that. So cliques always scare me. If you fast forward to post-college, I don't consider myself a quote-unquote good gay. I have gone to a handful of pride events, yes. I've gone to the clubs occasionally. I've never marched for anything. I've never donated money to a specific LGBTQ plus cause. I have only seen like 1 or 2 drag shows in my life. The stereotypical things that are gay, or at least the ones that are visible to everyone, I've not really partaken in. And you don't have to partake in it. If you are gay and it doesn't appeal to you to go out there, then it's fine. It doesn't matter. People I have dated are not those types of people either, where they're out in the community wearing a flag and just parading around. Some people like that. Some people don't. And it's all about those choices. You make those choices yourself. I'm happy about a lot of the choices that I've made. I've learned from a lot of the choices that I've made mistakes with. And that's all about growing as a person. Whether or not you want to be the face of the gay community, it's up to you. Whether you want to stay in a closet, if you're happy in a closet, you stay in that closet. That's fine. If you're not happy, seek out things. If you're not happy, make a change. When I was in college, I was happy where I was. I was happy in the position that I was in. I was happy with the clubs that I selected. I was happy with the friends that I surrounded myself with. When I got out of college, same thing happened. I found my happiness how I wanted to. You can find happiness anywhere. When you're in college, it might be a little bit easier to find people with like-minded interests. I actually think the boards on Reddit kind of remind me of Reddit boards remind me a lot of my childhood forums. I used to follow a lot of television forums. It eventually got me into the job I had pretty much out of college. But I'm digressing. There are threads on Reddit that are gay related. And if you're, I don't want to use the anime term shut in, but if you are more computer friendly and you want to find a community, there is a community out there as well. You can just go online and chat with people. You do not have to go out in person. If that's something you're not ready to do, or if that's something that just doesn't even appeal to you, you don't have to. There's a lot of resources online. There are a lot of friends you can make. And even in the most banal of things, you can kind of find a community. This sounds, I don't know why I'm embarrassing myself now on episode 1, but I love playing the mobile game Empires and Puzzles. And I am actually part of a gay group. I sought them out. I don't know why I sought them out, but I sought them out. I joined because a friend of mine knew that I was good at the game and his team needed a lot of help. And they're not the biggest of chatters, but it's nice to be in a community that respects you for being gay. I've seen a few other games that can become quite homophobic. But there are communities out there as well. Hopefully I can chat with a few of them. Hopefully I could chat with a few community leaders later on into this podcast. I know this is just the start of a lot of ambition and dreams that I have for this, and I'm really hoping that you guys stick with me. It does seem like I have been rambling a little too long, so I do want to kind of cut this podcast a little short. I do have a random recommendation for you guys. Britney Spears has been in the news recently because of her conservatorship. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that correctly. Please tell me if I'm not. Her conservatorship with her parents and custody of money and everything, I honestly have not been paying 100% attention to it, but it's kept Britney's name just kind of floating in the back of my head. So I've been seeking out some music. I've been listening to different albums. I'm not a full album listener, but I wanted to listen to some Britney's music, maybe asking certain smart devices to play music by Britney Spears. And I don't know how I can transition this, so I'm just going to do it. One of my top 5 favorite songs from Madonna is La Isla Bonita. That song is just catchy. It feels very summery. It's just, I love it. Britney Spears in the blackout era of her music, had a song that was unreleased called Love to Love You. I believe it's the number 2 and the letter U. So it's love, number 2, love, letter U. And it samples La Isla Bonita. And honestly, the song is such a bop. It is so catchy, but I think it's because it has that summer salsa, sweaty feel of La Isla Bonita, but with like Britney Spears' weird like baby voice sounding thing she does. It's great. Please take a listen to it. It could have been a Britney hit in the blackout era. Okay, but I gotta get going. Thank you so much for listening to this first podcast. The format, I'm sure, will continue to adjust and change, but please come along with me on this journey. I am so excited and overjoyed for you to be here as part of this journey right at the beginning. Please help me out by leaving positive feedback on whatever source you are listening to this from. I know this will be on most podcasting hubs, but I'm sure I'll post a version of this on YouTube as well, so please leave a like. Please tell your friends. If you are part of the gay community and you'd like to talk about your projects that you are doing, contact me. For now, I am taking direct messages either on Instagram or on Twitter. On both of those platforms, I am this_is_Paz. On Facebook, it's This Is Paz, just mushed together. So if you want to leave me a message, I would love to have you on the podcast where we can talk about your gay experiences. To help me pay for the bills, make sure that you listen to some of my music on Spotify. I am trying my best to get a new song out, maybe something Christmassy related. We'll see what happens. But that is it for the How to Gay podcast. Again, thank you for listening. I will see you guys later. And remember, we'll get it right next time. Bye, guys.